This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
The Cowboys are on the clock.
Your war room for insider news and draft analysis from deep within the confines of Cowboys headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
The Dallas Cowboys select Leighton Vander Esch.
And now, your hosts, Dane Brugler, David Hellman, and Brian Broaddus.
Sometimes it's the journey that teaches you a lot about the destination. We welcome you to the Draft Show.
I love it when you have some motivational words for us.
Where did you get that from?
Drake.
Are you serious?
Serious.
I didn't even recognize it.
Drake.
And that's my guy.
Drake is your guy, Dave.
What song?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just went for motivational quotes.
Sure it wasn't Sir Francis Drake?
Thomas Paine,
Might have been
Drake.
Sir Francis Drake. For all I know, it just said Drake. Yeah, I'm sure if it's Sir Francis, they would have told me that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the journey that teaches you a lot about your destination. And once again, we get it started here with the Draft Show. So excited to be back with my scouts, Dane Brugler, David Hellman, Brian Bross, of course, here. Kent Garrison, executive producing today. Gentlemen, I missed you. How's the road been treating you?
It's, there's no off season with the draft, so it's been a lot of work and getting us to this point. But it's just, I know a lot of Cowboys fans are unhappy that they're not still playing football. We're talking about the draft right now, but
Absolutely.
It's time to get this team better.
Yeah,
make another run next year.
David Hellman, they got a lot of holes to fill, don't they?
Actually,
for a team that's a playoff team.
I think all NFL teams have holes to fill. That's the way the league is designed. But I think this is as healthy as this roster has looked in terms of draft needs in quite some time.
I like it.
Yeah, they need a tight end. Yeah, they might need a slot receiver. Yeah, the safeties could be upgraded. Yeah, the D tackles got bullied against the Rams. But we're not sitting here just panicking about something, which has been the case in a lot of years heading into the draft. So that's a nice place to be, and that's before free agency too. So I think this is you can always make the team better, but this is a pretty healthy looking roster right now, in my opinion.
There you go. If you're new to the Draft Show, we welcome you. We appreciate you checking us out. It's not all about the Dallas Cowboys, even though we just had a little bit of discussion about the Dallas Cowboys and what they want to do or what they might do or what direction they might go. This show really is about to investigate and educate. We pride ourselves on our ability to talk about a lot of different subjects, to talk a lot about different scenarios, to talk about the players. I think that's the most important thing here as we go along in this journey we're talking about, is that by the time we get to Nashville in April, that you have a good idea of who these players are and what they're capable of. And again, we don't discriminate. If you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, we welcome you. If you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, we welcome you. If you're a fan of the Seattle Seahawks, we welcome you. That's our job here, is to try and, again, let you guys know who these players are. We'd like to interact with you. It's very important with us. We're going to be going to the Senior Bowl next week, have 3 shows from you there. We're going to do shows from the Combine. We're going to talk to people. We're going to have guests. We're going to do everything we can to kind of get you ready for this draft as we start that journey again today. And there's a couple different ways you can get a hold of us. We got you up on Periscope. I'm going to be kind of following along with that. We've got Twitter on the 20, which David Hellman does a great job of every year. Ed Cahill, thank you for coming up with that idea. That's a good way to get your questions in. And then we've also got the opportunity to call in, 888-855-2297. You can see it right there. You can get a hold of my call for a call or two. Kent Garrison is, again, the executive producer, and he will be handling those calls. So, again, be nice to him. We're always doing well. We're excited about the draft coming up as we get going here, and we'd like to hear your calls and opinions on that. So as we get started, though, Dane and David, the storylines that I kind of want to focus on early here is the Kyler Murray one.
Who?
Yeah. Who? Kyler Murray. I want to focus on that one to start this day. And I want to focus on really the Kyler Murray and you said the fact that the Cowboys, or we know the Cowboys don't have a first-round pick, but I think one of the interesting storylines for that draft is going to be where Kyler Murray goes.
If he stays in the draft.
If he stays in the draft, if he goes.
And that's going to be the fascinating part of this whole thing is he for sure going to be in this draft class?
Yeah.
He did declare.
He did declare.
But it was more of an arbitrary type of deal because the deadline, the underclassmen deadline,
right?
He had to make a decision, but he has yet to say that, yes, I'm giving up baseball. And, part of it is because he has all the leverage right now. There's no reason for him to do that. We'll see how the Oakland A's handle that situation because, obviously they used a first-round pick, a top 10 pick on Kyler Murray. Are they going to kind of draw a hard line in the sand and say, you need to be here for spring training starting February 15th? Or are they going to be a little lenient and say, okay, you can leave for a week, go to the combine? It's going to be a really fascinating thing to see how it plays out. But, people that I talk to around the league, they expect Kyler Murray to be in this draft class.
Yeah. David Hellman?
That'll add some juice.
It should add some juice. On Dane Brugler's top 50, Kyler Murray sits currently, at number 33.
Yeah.
So
just pencil him right into the Teddy Bridgewater, Lamar Jackson.
Is that kind of where you were thinking?
No, well, I mean, part of it is, you kind of park him as a potential first-round pick.
Sure.
And got to go from there.
Got him right on the edge, though, don't you?
I've done the film study on him. Okay?
Oh, you've done a lot of study on this guy already. Yeah.
It's tough because I'm a big believer in you trust the tape.
Absolutely.
That tells you what kind of player he is, tells you the traits, tell you where he's going. But it's hard to trust the tape with Kyler Murray because of the conference that he played in.
Yep.
Sorry, Big 12 fans.
Oh, you're big on killing those Big 12 fans, aren't you?
They don't play defense.
Yeah.
And it's a conference that didn't have a lot of great pass rushers. Plus, he played behind the best offensive line in college football.
Had a lot of time to throw that football, David Hellman.
Literally 5, 6, 7 seconds.
Yeah. Yep.
So how do you evaluate that? I think he's got a great arm. I think he's naturally accurate. We know he's an electric athlete, and he's a pass-first quarterback. He's not a guy that's just going to take off when he feels a hint of pressure. So how do you evaluate that? And then that's not even factoring into size. So there's a lot of variables here, a lot of layers you have to peel back to figure them out.
But David, you notice what he said, though. He didn't mention the size until the very end.
I mean, in this day and age, and I know Kyler Murray is short. I get it. I mean, he's not a shade under 6 feet like people. He's a shade under 5'10" probably.
If he's 5'9.5", that's a win.
Yeah. But still, though, in this day and age, I don't think that hangs people up as much as it used to. When you've seen the success that shorter quarterbacks can have, you can scheme things to make it.
There's one in this
easier
playoffs this weekend, isn't there?
Who, Drew?
Yeah, Brees.
Drew's 2 inches taller than Kyler. Probably.
Isn't that amazing to say?
Yeah. But, hey, learn how to throw on your tiptoes.
But honestly, even more so than the height, I think the build is a bigger question.
Yeah. Oh, now that I agree
Baker
with.
Mayfield, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, these guys are about 25 pounds bigger, heavier, stouter. Kyler Murray,
he could get hurt in the NFL.
He didn't take a lot of hits in the Big 12.
Yeah.
We really don't know how he's going to be able to bounce back from hits. We saw Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson was more of a runner in college, so he knew he had a better understanding of how to take care of his body in terms of taking those hits. We don't necessarily know that with Kyler Murray, and there's still some questions there. So more so, obviously 5'9" is not ideal for a quarterback, but more so than that, because look, he played behind an NFL offensive line.
Sure.
4 of the guys on the offensive line are going to get drafted in April in Oklahoma. So he played behind an NFL quality offensive line. I'm more worried about just the build and being able to take hits and stay durable, bounce back. He got rocked a little bit in that Alabama game. Now, he bounced back fairly well, but still, the NFL is a different animal.
Rare mobility, though, for a quarterback?
He's fast. There's no question about that.
The quickness, the elusiveness.
He is really, and he's really instinctive with it.
Yeah, he is.
He understands angles. He understands, where the rush is coming from.
Yeah.
He's so good. There are times we watch his tape. He looks like a mini Mahomes out there with his ability to get those.
That baseball player, right?
Right. Well, yeah.
That kind of that instinct.
Different arm angles.
Yeah, different arm angles.
Throwing off platform.
Yeah.
The outside the pocket stuff. Yeah. So it's. More so than ever, kind of like what Dave was referring to, the NFL is more open-minded now compared to any before to have a quarterback like this and invest a premium draft pick in him.
Do you think old scouts like me are taking a different approach about these quarterbacks, Dave?
I would have to believe that they are based on what we've seen.
I can't just sit there and throw Josh Allen and those guys out there, the prototypical guy. I can't just throw that guy out there.
Well, just look
because these shorter guys are having success.
Look at the trends. I mean, Baker Mayfield was just the number one overall pick.
Exactly.
And I know he's not short, but Pat Mahomes is about as unconventional a quarterback prospect as has come into the NFL in recent memory.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much fun. First episode of the 17 show, we were laughing about how hard it was to evaluate him. Kind of what we just said about Kyler too.
Yeah.
And
that was intangibles, I think, don't you, Dane?
Well,
John Dorsey and intangibles there with Baker.
Look, we do a lot of work here at the draft show. And
Christian.
we study the tape and all that. But when it comes to quarterbacks, there are just certain things that we're not really we don't have the access to. Like,
oh, sure.
A big thing for me with Pat Mahomes was how would he do on the whiteboard in terms of breaking down coverages, understanding, just understanding where to go with the football.
Right.
Just the mental side of it. That's a big thing with Kyler Murray. Where is he in his mental development? Because there are some questions about that Lincoln Riley offense and how much that'll prepare you. Baker Mayfield was a little bit different with where he was coming into the league. So there are certain things about Kyler Murray, just kind of like Pat Mahomes, that we're not really going to have access to, and it's going to make a little more work on NFL teams to figure him out. But at this point in the draft, we're just under 100 days away. It's anybody's guess, where he fits. I think there's a good chance he goes first round.
Yeah.
But does he crack the top 12? Is he more in the teens? There might only be 3 or 4 teams that are legitimately interested in him. But where are those teams picking? Where do those teams feel comfortable drafting a guy like that?
That's why I think the first overall pick is for sale.
Oh yeah, it always is.
I think Arizona is going to be interested in getting out of there. And again, it's going to be about Haskins, quarterback from Ohio State, who is 15th, on Dane's board right now as we speak.
I got to pull this up. It's funny.
Is he a guy? This is the thing I think it's going to be fun about this draft. I think a defensive tackle could be the first pick overall.
Yeah, Quinnen
Williams. I absolutely think he could be the first pick in this draft.
He's worthy. There's no question.
First pick in the draft or first pick by the Cardinals?
First pick in the draft. Because if you're going to go up, you're probably going to go get a quarterback.
You're not going to go up for a tackle, yeah. But
this guy,
I know they just drafted Rosen, but it's hard for me to believe that you're bad enough that you have the number 1 pick in the draft and you're going to take a D tackle.
This guy's rare.
He's the best player.
Yeah,
the best. It's the Quentin Nelson argument with me. Yeah, it's the same argument with me. How can you pick a guard? Look what that guy's done.
Guards protect your quarterback, though.
How about guys getting after the quarterback?
I'd even say a defensive tackle is more important than a guard, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, because
is it though?
Because he can get after. Well, if you can get after the quarterback, yeah.
After what you saw that guy in Los Angeles do for number of sacks?
It's funny. Well, okay, Aaron Donald is rare, rarest of rare. He might, if you redrafted it, he'd go a lot higher. But okay, how about the guy how about the guy that's next to him though? He was taken number 2 overall. He's on his 3rd team.
Yeah.
I
think a lot of that has to do with attitude.
Okay, how about
that guy? All right, that guy woke up the other day against you.
How about old Gerald McCoy down in Tampa? Intangibles through the roof, like everything you want in a player. Perfect guy, great.
Making a pretty good argument there, isn't he?
Has he done anything?
He's played well.
He's played. I cut myself off. Of course, he's played well. Of course, he's a good player. Yeah. Has Tampa been relevant during his tenure?
Well, I don't think. Yeah, no. Defensive tackles aren't. Unless you're Aaron Donald, they're not game changers. But
I think we're getting to that point though.
But in this draft,
yeah,
Nick Bosa to me is the best player. Okay. He was the best player as soon as last.
I'm not going to go down that path again.
Yeah. Not going to die on that.
I'm not going to die on that hill. I am not going to die on that hill.
We love the Bosas.
Yeah,
everyone.
Yeah, I'm with
Nick Bosa is the best player in this draft. But with his medical history, and an interesting wrinkle with him is it's not just his injury history. Nick Bosa, for those that don't follow college football, played the first 3 games, had a core injury, kind of like with his abdominal area, missed the rest of the year. He had an ACL his senior year in high school, so he's had a few injury things that the medicals at the combine will be paramount. But you look at his brother Joey, who when he's on the field, he's an All-Pro.
He's an All-Pro,
but he's had some foot issues. He's had other issues. Their father was a first-round pick in 1987. Only played 2 years because of injuries. Is there something going on with the Bosa family in terms of durability that you have to worry about? That's a wrinkle that'll be part of this. But okay, back to the original point. At the first overall pick, Nick Bosa is a top player in this draft.
Yeah.
If he's healthy, if my trainers and my doctors give me 2 thumbs up, and I don't receive a big enough offer, I think Bosa is going number 1 to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But if say the medicals fail and my trainers say no, you don't want to touch this guy.
Yeah. We'll hear that at the Combine. Get ready.
Who are you getting that's going to have a better impact than Quinnen Williams?
Yeah.
I think it's 1, Bosa, 2, Quinnen Williams, and then I think there's a little bit of a gap for the next best player.
I'll tell you to give another defensive tackle. I think it's pretty, that Michigan kid, Gary.
Yeah.
That's enough. You watch him start coming up. I mean, I know Dane's got him high.
He's at number 4.
People are going to start talking about him a lot more.
Well, he's polarizing. He is
definitely polarized.
He's at 285 pounds. He moves like he's 250.
He is crazy. It plays at under tackle.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's going to be some tackles.
He's outside. I mean, he's playing on the edge where he could.
Oh no, he could play. I think he could. You could put him in.
Yeah,
he got some versatility. Dane, walk me through. It's going to be a record number for juniors.
Yeah.
Coming in this draft.
Yeah.
10 years ago, was it maybe
2009? It was like 45, 49, something like that.
Yeah.
Now we're triple that.
What's the storyline on that?
Well, guys getting bad advice. A lot of guys, they don't really care about the college scene. They just want to try and get that contract sooner. And, so they're going to play their odds and see what happens. And, a lot of them will end up regretting it. But for some guys, it'll be the right choice. We get the official list from the NFL here in the next few days, today or tomorrow, really. But we're going to be over 130 names. It's going to be a lot of names that come out. And history tells us that about, a little over a third are going to go undrafted. And so, a lot of these guys are going to regret the decision they made. But, I'm not going to hate on any of these underclassmen who are going out. I understand why they're doing it. A lot of them don't have a choice, academic-wise, family situation-wise. They really don't have a choice. So not going to put too much heat on them. We'll just see how it plays out.
I think you can probably credit the CBA for a lot of that, too. The way it's slotted now, obviously the higher you go, the more money you get.
Absolutely.
But
right.
You look at the way it's slotted, and unless you're a first round pick,
right,
then you're talking a pretty similar ballpark in terms of finances. And I think a lot of these guys are like, all right, cool. I'll be a fifth round pick. I'll get X amount of guarantees and a 4-year contract, and I'm just already working toward my next contract. I really do think that's a big part of it. Like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was a gigantic financial blunder to go early and not be a first or second round pick. And now it's just kind of like, as long as I get drafted, then it's fine. Which, of course, a lot of these guys aren't going to get drafted, and that's a shame. But if you're banking on being one of 253 picks, I get why you bet on yourself, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Right.
Do you have a deep position right now?
It starts with the defensive line. We're going to see those guys go early and often.
Yeah.
My top 50 board, I think I've got 7 pass rushers in the top 16, 17, something like that.
Josh Allen being the best one?
Bosa being the best one.
Bosa. I'm sorry.
And
Bosa.
Bosa, Josh Allen. I think those will probably be Bosa's a consensus top guy, and then Allen will probably be close to a consensus next. But then you got some variety of guys.
Farrell. How about him?
Farrell, yeah.
I loved watching that tape of him against a guy from Alabama.
Jonah
Williams.
Left tackle, yeah.
What a good matchup
down
that
the
was.
stretch, Cleveland Farrell played better than anybody else.
Yeah. It's funny because I remember looking at him last year and some a little bit early this year.
Yeah.
That wasn't necessarily the case with him.
Sure.
The Wilkins kid is another one, too, from Clemson. You watch all those Clemson kids?
Dexter Lawrence didn't even play in the playoffs.
He's one of the tougher ones to figure out.
That is a really tough one. I struggled with doing the tape on him. I really did struggle on, and it has nothing to do with him having to sit out. I wish he could have played the playoff games. I wish he could have played.
Well, I'll tell you this: how much did that Clemson defensive line suffer without him?
Not much.
They almost played better.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not, and that's not necessarily gonna, kill Dexter Lawrence. But I don't know. I've got a lot of questions on the player. How about our guy from Florida, Jachai Polite? I know that's a guy that we're going to be debating.
Broadus is already knee deep in this. Did you not like what you saw?
I liked the pass rusher a little bit. I thought they just ran the ball at him, though.
Oh, yeah.
You said at one time he was a 260-pound guy.
Yeah,
he's 249 now?
Yeah, they played him a little inside, too, but he lost 20 pounds, got in shape, and became a pass rush specialist.
That's this week has been great because you're grinding on playoffs. You play the Rams. 36 hours after I get back, Brian's like, how do you pronounce this guy's name? I look over and he's watching Florida tape.
Yeah.
Classic.
No, the pass rush, it's going to be fun to debate the pecking order of these guys because I'm higher on Polite than you are just because he's
Yeah, but 12th overall right now, right?
Yeah, and pass rush is king. If
you asked me who I thought I was kind of a little skitty on.
Right.
He was the first name I mentioned.
So are you guys saying we're going to have a polite conversation?
Not at all. It's never
not going to be polite.
Never polite on the draft show. I'll tell you another position I'm kind of noticing: offensive tackles. It's a lot better class than last year.
Yeah,
that offensive tackle group last year. I didn't feel like, if Colton Miller was your number 2 guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
How did he play this year? I don't even know.
Not well.
Yeah.
I'll
talk to John about that at the Senior Bowl.
The thing about
John, that's a Colton Miller.
This year's offensive tackle group is there's not that clear-cut top 10 pick. Now, I think we both like Jonah Williams. But
Greg Little.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. Talking to more people around the league, I think it's about 50-50 in terms of teams looking at Jonah Williams. 50% seeing a tackle, 50% seeing an interior guy.
Ooh,
I really think it's split.
Do you think that championship game kind of hurt him a little bit? He got rocked a couple of times by Farrell.
I think you saw some of the worries, and you saw the really good too.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of times where he got rocked, but then he was able to reset.
Yeah,
and
he went on
recover.
the ground. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and use the hand strength, use the technique, use his base strength. So I think there's a lot that you saw that you liked, but also some things that you worry about.
Yeah,
because Farrell certainly took it to him and got him more than a few times. Greg Little, I love Cody Ford. Ford is.
Oh, okay. Cody Ford is now going to be. You got him on your board here. Mm-hmm. You got Cody Ford on your board here, and I'm looking at it. Whereas
I've got him at 11.
11. You got all these offensive linemen right there with each other, right?
Well, I've got
Williams, Little, Ford.
Yeah.
I'm on the one I have, it's 14. I think is what you got him at.
I updated him.
We having a little. We're going back a little bit here. We're crawfish on this guy.
It's an evolving conversation, Brian. It's January 17th.
List's a week old, so
yeah. Okay. He's sending me a week old list of guys he's working with. I'm working off the same list you are now.
But no, Cody Ford is. He's a grizzly bear playing tackle. That's what he is. And he gives you tackle guard versatility.
Any chance he's over Little? Any chance he ends up as the third guy? Any chance he ends up to be the first guy?
Yeah. It's all on the table. Absolutely.
This is I'm derailing the conversation a little bit, but this is a fascinating subplot for me. Is like I feel like over the last 3 or 4 years, you've really known what to expect from the top of the first round. I mean, the Browns had the first pick for a million years. The Jags were constantly up there. It's not the case anymore. And not only that, not only are these some new teams. I mean, the Jets are there. It seems like the Jets are always up there, but a lot of new teams picking near the top of the draft, and not that many that need a quarterback, which is always something you have to. I mean, Cardinals don't need a quarterback. 49ers do not need one. Jets, no. Oakland, maybe. I mean, you can't rule anything out with what John Gruden is doing out there. Bruce Arians is talking about building his offense around Jameis Winston, so I assume they don't need one. Okay, now you're all the way to
here we go.
6 and 7.
7, yeah. And get ready for a Rams Eagle try and get to the top of the board bit.
That's what this makes me think.
Is there though? I don't see. I don't know. I don't know if teams are going to be convinced enough about this quarterback group. I don't know.
History has taught me that somebody is always convinced.
Absolutely. History will tell us that quarterback desperation does not take a year off.
Right.
Yeah.
History tells us that going back the last 20 years, the last 2 decades, there's been at least one quarterback drafted in the top 5 every year except for 2013. That was the E.J. Manuel draft. Terrible draft class for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So history tells us we're going to see a quarterback in the top 5, likely a trade up. But Dave Gettleman doesn't like to trade.
He doesn't like to trade.
The Jaguars at 7. Okay, what happens when they sign Nick Foles? And they they go the win now approach.
This is always going to change. Always.
But okay,
how about Denver?
Then you go to Denver at 10.
Yeah,
they're going to be in that conversation. But I don't think we're going to see necessarily a race to get up to the top spot.
All right,
top 5. Yes, I think teams trying to get to 3 or 4 maybe try to get ahead of the Giants. But I don't know if we're going to necessarily see the 3 first-round picks for the first overall pick this year.
I just want, and I don't mean any respect to Quinnen Williams. I think he's a hell of a player. But like in a year where that is the guy that might go number 1, I imagine some teams near the top of the draft might be trying to get down, and rather than I'd rather have Byron Murphy and an extra pick or 2 than Quinnen Williams.
Probably. I don't think you're wrong about the teams wanting to move down. are you going to get the package that you want?
Yeah.
I think that's more of the concern here because I don't think that we're going to see teams looking to give up multiple first-round picks.
Why? Yeah, if the players are there.
Right.
Yeah. 25th pick worth Amari Cooper?
27th.
27th.
And
27th?
Hell yes. That's,
How did I get that wrong?
I don't know. It's okay.
This pick's now 27. Where's Houston then?
23?
It's a good question. I have the order pulled up.
Houston's 23.
Maybe I misread that. Okay, so the 27. My bad. Sorry about that. Misinformation on my part.
27th overall
27th pick overall.
Yes, absolutely. It's worth it. And
I don't know how you could debate
that
it wasn't.
Hey, you can get some good players with the 20. I saw Tre'Davious White was picked 27 a couple years ago.
Sure.
It took him a few years, but Byron Jones is a Pro Bowler, 27th overall pick. You could get good players.
At 3 and 5, it looked like a disaster, didn't it?
It felt like an overpay at 3 and 5, but an overpay that made sense. That's what I said at the time. I was like, this is a steep price to pay, but if he has the impact that you say he will, then it should pan out. And that's exactly what happened. And now it's an underpay because and people don't want to hear that, but like I don't even view pick 27 as a first round pick.
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, if we traditionally see somewhere between 18 and 20 names as first round grades, that's like a second round grade is what you're really a second round pick you're giving up right there.
Right.
Project real quick before we go to break. Man, this show goes so damn fast.
Rashad Penny was picked 27 last year.
Okay.
He was the third leading rusher on the Seahawks roster.
Yeah. Okay, project for me of last year. Cooper, Gallup, Cedric Wilson. Like that combination right there for the Cowboys?
This guy, which no disrespect intended to Cedric Wilson, but like this guy's putting Cedric Wilson in the Pro Bowl. Like he's ready to go.
Did you like Cedric Wilson a little bit though, didn't you?
I liked him, yeah, as a number 4. I mean, I don't know.
But I mean, it's okay. That's
you add a slot receiver.
Yeah.
If Beasley's not back, and then I like that top 4. That's not bad.
Yeah. I'm just trying to remember. Let's remember we talked about Cedric Wilson here.
Okay.
We talked about him. We did.
You roll with Cedric Wilson, or you take a look at your pick 58 and pick where do we know what the third round? pick
this
is
guy
yet?
next to me, he wants to take that kid from UMass.
Yeah, so do I. I want him too.
Andy Isabella, baby.
Andy Isabella. By the way, he'll be at the Senior Bowl, right?
Yeah,
Andy,
he'll be there.
Yeah, he'll be
the
Dan
guy.
will be standing next to him, holding his bag and his shoulder pads and helmet.
You're gonna give him your keys, thinking he's the valet or something.
Yeah. Oh, here, Andy.
5'8",
That's. I mean,
no, he's a hell of a player, by the way.
Heck yeah,
he is a hell of a player.
We can talk about that later, but I am fascinated with the thought of adding a really top-notch receiver
Isabella.
to this team.
Heck yeah.
Dane, KT, Kevin Turner, Jeff Kavanaugh, they beat me down in a room the other night.
You heard what I said when we were shooting these video segments. We're reviewing the season. You heard what I said yesterday.
Yeah.
Right off.
I don't really listen to what you say.
Thank you. Past 4 years. Yeah. Jarvis Landry, Cooper Kupp.
Oh no, I didn't.
Tyler Lockett.
Yeah.
Tyler Boyd.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're begging you to find these difference makers in the 50s and 60s. Like they're just begging you. They're there every year.
Yeah.
And they can step right in and play. Let's go. Let's do that.
He can make some catches now. We watched that Georgia game. He had 15 catches against Georgia.
What's his where do you peg him? We're just
Game thinks you're going to have to go before 58 to get it.
I think there's a good chance he goes before 58. I have a third round grade on him, but I think there's a good chance he's a team will like him enough to take him in the late second.
Oh, so you're saying that people are going to go up? They're going to draft him around early.
If you have a need for his skill set, I think he'll be valued over a guy like Hakeem Butler or
Hakeem Butler from Iowa State,
right? A lot of these other big name receivers.
Yeah.
Isabella's going to go before some of them because he fits the skill set of what some teams are looking for. And by the way, he had 15 catches in that Georgia game.
All-time record.
Do you know the number of players who have gone into Sanford Stadium between the hedges and caught 15 passes?
He's the only one.
0.
Yeah, you told me that. I listened to you. I listened to you. Yeah, Sanford Stadium. They have some great. They've got some great guys.
He fits this team's needs. 58.
Okay. How about this, real quick? Irv Smith Jr. or Andy Alabama tight end, or Andy Isabella, wide receiver, UMass.
I think Irv Smith's a better player. I think he's a chance to go in the first round.
Yeah.
So I don't think.
But if there's three tight ends, okay. If in fact you say you had to go up, make a small move to go get a guy, and you're going to go, does Andy Isabella or Irv Smith make more sense for this team?
I don't. I don't trust this team to use a tight end properly, and I don't trust.
How about a slot receiver?
I don't
That's
trust.
why Cole Beasley's probably.
Well, we're gonna soup that position up though. We're gonna give Dak a fantastic security blanket.
Can't you say the same thing about tight end?
You can.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What has a better chance to hit? How many second-round tight ends make an impact?
Oh, he's going on history
quickly?
here.
But how many slot receivers can you find later on?
Yeah.
I mean, look at history with Cole Beasley.
Cole Beasley was
like
an undrafted guy.
I don't want.
See, this is why I argue against Andy Isabella.
I'm trying to soup that up.
Yeah.
Cole Beasley's great. Juju Smith-Schuster's much better.
Yeah.
Right?
People want the Iowa kids. Both those Iowa kids are going to be gone, right?
Blake Jarwin's going to the Pro Bowl.
Two
next
Iowa
year.
kids.
We don't have to worry about
Which
this.
Iowa kids?
Those tight ends.
Fanton.
Tight
yeah.
ends,
Those guys.
They'll be long gone.
Boy, those are good players.
Really good. First-round players.
Irv Smith will be long gone too.
Hawkinson. Two tight ends
I
in the
tell you
same
what,
program.
if they gave like Hawkeye helmet stickers, his helmet would look like the Ohio State guys. He pancake. He just pancakes guys.
The clip
Inline tight end that could get up the field and
the clip you showed me of the block against Illinois. I remember Dane
he
posted
took
that
the guy
on
out
Twitter
past the cheerleaders.
Yeah, it was bad.
He had a couple of those against Nebraska. I mean, if they both go first round, it'd be the first time ever we've had two tight ends from the same program go first round the same year.
Damn,
it's never happened before.
Nebraska didn't do that one year.
No,
not in one.
Never happened. Not in the same year.
All right.
We should probably take a break, right?
Yeah,
we're
we
like
do.
15 minutes over.
I'm so sorry about this. I am. We just got going. When we come back, we're going to try and take some Twitter questions.
Twitter on the 40.
We need to get into this Senior Bowl roster a little bit. I'm going to let Dane Burglar break down some guys here. I'll try and steal a question or two off Periscope if you want to fire them that way. 888-855-2297. You have the draft show. We'll be right back from the SWBC Mortgage Studios.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Do you want the most interesting, up-to-the-minute Dallas Cowboys news straight from the Star in Frisco? How about exclusive and on command? That's right, news and nuggets you can't find anywhere else. With our exclusive Cowboys content on Alexa, you can have all the answers, secrets, stories, and more. What's Stephen Jones thinking during a game? What's Joe Looney's favorite pregame meal? We take your questions to Cowboys players and coaches, and you can hear the answers directly back to you. Just say, Alexa, open Dallas Cowboys.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for a little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Dr. Pepper is the one you crave. But how do you explain that craving?
Imagine being shipwrecked on a desert island, alone. Glass-like curls of surf pound the shore with Dr. Pepper-colored waves. Surrounded by desire, but you can't drink it because it's the ocean. The fish live in there. The only thing you want is Dr. Pepper, and you can't have it.
Now that is a Dr. Pepper craving. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
The Cowboys are on the clock.
We're back here with the Draft Show from the SWBC Mortgage Studios. We're presented, as always, by Miller Lite. We appreciate everybody that's hanging out with us today. The first of our installments. We're going to do one draft show a week.
Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, sorry about that, folks. We're going to do one show a week, but next week we're at the Senior Bowl. We'll have 3. We'll have a Tuesday show, Wednesday show, Thursday show.
And if you want to call Jerry and tell him to get the first-round pick back, then we'll do 2 shows a week.
Yeah, well, we've got other obligations we have as well. We have to do.
Yeah, that
so
too.
That's true. But the draft show we could go back to 2 times a week when we get to April. Derek is we're looking at some things. So once we get close to the draft, we'll get back into some double shows. But for right now, we're just going to do the 1 show a week. We do appreciate again everybody that's hanging out with us today. Real quick before we get back, Dave, I'll hit one question off of Periscope here. Bryce Love, any update on the Stanford running back? Folks here think that this team needs a backup running back. Any update on what Bryce Love has, his situation?
He had the ACL tear late in the season, so realistically, he's not going to work out before the draft. Yeah. He had such a great junior year, runner-up in the Heisman. Yeah. If he could go back and do it over again, I don't know, because he was big. He wanted to go back for school.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if he would change his mind if he can go back and in hindsight, but. Basically, some team's going to get a bargain on day 3 with him because he's damaged goods, and you wonder about the durability, being able to hold up.
He was fun to watch play at Stanford, though.
No question. I mean, he
tough. God,
over 2,000 rushing yards.
Yeah.
And,
promise me he's going to fall to day 3.
I'd be shocked if he didn't.
This team, let's go. Let's do it. This team right here.
Dave's got a tight end.
No, I don't want a tight end.
No. Andy Isabella.
Yeah.
Bryce, I don't want to be a bad guy. Those are 2 really tough guys.
We need more
about
picks.
Value.
We need more picks. We need to make some trades. We don't have enough picks right now.
All right. Well, with that, we need some more. One of my favorite segments. I love when the fans get involved. I love how David Hellman runs this drill. Ed Cahill, thank you as always. It is
Twitter on the 20.
We're a little late on that, but
we're late. It's fine. We'll
roll with it.
Hop right into it.
What do you got, Dave?
Good question from Luis. He says, assuming no major free agency grabs, despite my hope for Earl Thomas.
Yeah, me too.
What position would you consider the top need for this defense? Realistically, who could we hope for?
You're going to look at some defensive tackles. You're going to look at defensive. You're going to look at a linebacker. You're going to look at a safety. What direction are you going to go into? Cornerbacks. I mean, people were kind of getting on Byron Jones a little bit about.
I think corner is more of a need than I think. I hear the same thing all the time: tight end, wide or defensive tackle, safety.
Yeah.
I think that's the 3 that I hear the most. But I think corner is a bigger need than people kind of talk about, especially if Byron Jones isn't back.
Yeah.
We don't know. What's going on with Jordan Lewis long term?
Yeah.
Where does he fit?
Anthony Brown will be up after next year.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That might be a difficult contract to figure out because he's been so up and down. I think corner is.
That's a good point.
You can never have.
No, that's true.
You can't have more corner, or you can never have too many corners, quality guys, and so maybe you try to find that next Anthony Brown in the 4th or 5th round.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because if you look at after the 2020 season, you got Collins, Elliott, Cooper, Jones, Malik Collins, Prescott, Anthony Brown, Jarwin, Rush, and Frazier. Those are all guys that are up.
And this draft class has an abundance of 6'1" and taller corners.
How about my guy from Vanderbilt?
Hello, Chris Richard.
Joejuan Williams.
And
that's the thing. With Chris Richard having more of an influence on this defense and the personnel, there's going to be guys, it's at the Senior Bowl. There's a lot of bigger, the tall, long receivers, even at the Senior Bowl. Chris Boyd from Texas, from the kid from Penn State, I can't pronounce his name, Oru Warrior.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah, I'm glad you did it, because I saw his,
it, then I can't
I saw his name and I went,
Isaiah Johnson from Houston. I mean, these guys are 6'1" and taller. They've got speed. They're going to be guys we see next week in Mobile. We're talking some of these guys, Isaiah Johnson, the Penn State kid, 3rd, 4th round, might fit the mold of what this team might be looking for outside a corner.
All right, here's one for you. We'll stick with the defense.
I love that Murphy kid from
Byron Murphy,
Washington, by the way. I think he's going to be the best corner.
Braden says, this doesn't necessarily pertain strictly to the draft, but how about Taco Charlton's future in Dallas? And how does that affect your draft needs? Thinking that you got 2 pretty good ends in DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory.
Yeah, and I was kind of thinking it maybe a needed end, depending on what's going to happen with Lawrence.
Lawrence is here. I refuse to believe otherwise.
Just as a long term, or he's
here. I don't. Whatever.
Just for this season, right?
I tend to agree.
They'll figure it out.
somewhere between.
I don't. We don't need it.
About 21 million.
That's not.
Matter?
That doesn't matter right now.
Okay.
It's here though.
Now, you guys have a better feel for this than I do, but in and out of the doghouse, it seemed like when he's on the field, you don't see a first round pick. What?
Oh.
That is not wrong.
I defended the pick in 2017, and it's not panning out for me very well right now. He's still got 3 years. Well, at least 2, maybe 3 years left. The attitude thing is what concerns me, just in the sense. I mean, if you're a healthy scratch as a first round pick in your second year, he
started off well. He really did. He started off well, and then he got hurt, and then he was just bad. And it was just bad. And I to me, I have a lot of concern there. I think there needs to be, if you want to talk about Ezekiel Elliott growing up in his third year, this guy needs to grow up in his third year.
Yeah.
He needs to grow up a lot. And become more serious about playing football.
I lean away from thinking that he's done in Dallas because what are you realistically going to get for him? And I mean, I'm not going to cut him.
No, there's no point.
No.
If somebody
here's all the TJ Watt stuff coming on.
Well,
Periscope
I mean,
right
now.
It
sucks. TJ Watt was taken 2 picks later. I think y'all said that it should be TJ Watt.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Cowboys felt differently.
Yeah,
and it's a rare. Still early to completely rule him out, but it is looking like a rare miss in the first round from this.
Their track record in the first round has been much better than a lot of teams. So. Yeah. They're bound for a miss, but it doesn't make it hurt any less.
No.
I mean, I'm just trying to get a bearing for how I feel about this. If somebody offered you like a 4th round pick for him, maybe somebody that had a high grade on him, kind of similar to what the Cowboys did with what's his name, Jihad Ward.
Yeah.
What'd they get for him, or what'd they give up?
They swapped players.
Swapped Switzer.
Switzer.
Was he the Switzer? No, Switzer.
Or
no, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Switzer
or
Olawale. Switzer. Yeah, Switzer.
They gave a draft pick for Austin.
Yeah,
that's probably what you're talking. I mean,
yeah,
you're not getting anything better than like a day 3 pick for him.
If I got a 4th round pick, I might do that.
Yeah.
You're just ready to move on after 2 years?
I mean, I'm not working with him every day.
Yeah.
It's hard for us to really say, because the attitude is certainly part of it, and just how he goes about his business. And I don't have a definitive opinion, but to this point, do I see him turning it on and living up to the first round potential? No,
he doesn't. And this is the trying to be patient guy.
And that
I'm gonna ride this one more year with him.
I think that's
and I totally get what everybody in the room's saying. I totally get that.
I think that's the best option, because just like I said, the alternative is just there aren't a lot of good alternatives.
No, there's not.
It is disappointing though.
Yeah, there's folks on Periscope agree with you guys. They would take the 4th. They would move on.
I don't realistically think somebody would offer you a 4th.
That's the thing. You're not getting a 4th.
Yeah.
So
probably right.
And I wouldn't trade him for a 7th. I'd rather just hope that he comes on. So,
yeah.
Austin says another year goes by, and I think the Cowboys still need that Tariq Cohen type of change of pace back. He wants some names that fit the bill.
Oh, I got me
some
running backs.
You're not alone, Austin. Not only do I think all of us think that, but the Cowboys clearly think that too, because they've tried to get one in all of the last 3 drafts. They wanted Donnell Pumphrey. They were really intrigued by Naheem Hines. I think there was a guy in the class before that too.
Yeah.
Either way, they clearly are interested in that as well.
Ito Smith.
Ito Smith. There you go.
Smith, yeah.
I got a guy for you. Utah State.
Oh,
somebody in my mentions.
I thought you were going to say Utah. I thought you were going to say the Utah guy.
What's the Utah State kid's name?
Darwin Thompson.
There we go.
If there's a Tariq Cohen in this draft, it's Darwin Thompson. He's a JUCO kid. Didn't have the grades out of high school.
Say his name one more time for me.
Darwin Thompson.
Darwin Thompson, Utah State. Okay,
went to Northeast Oklahoma A&M. That sounds made up. It is not.
That does sound made up.
Yeah. Went there for a couple years, then went to Utah State this past year. He averaged over almost 7 yards per carry. He caught 25 balls out of the backfield. He's not a power guy. I mean, he's probably 5'7", 198 pounds. He's not going to be a guy that consistently run up the middle. He doesn't have that inside power, but get him out in space, get him in a screen game. I think he's going to be a guy that we could see go higher than maybe we thought, just like a Tariq Cohen, because someone's looking for that style of player.
Where do you have Zach Moss?
He's not in this draft class.
He did.
He went back to school.
Why am I looking at players that went back to school?
Slipping up all over the place. Is that your Utah guy?
That's my Utah.
You liked him a lot.
I did.
Oh, what a waste.
He was
effort.
my number one running back in October.
Right. So, he
was supposed to come out, but he hurt his knee in November.
Oh, okay.
Decided to go back to school.
Okay.
Hey, we've been in playoff mode for 2 weeks. You get a mulligan.
Okay. How about did Singletary go back from Florida Atlantic?
No, he's in this draft.
Okay, here we go.
He's a top 40 pick.
Tell me about Devin Singletary from Florida.
He's a top 40 pick.
40?
I'm out. I don't care.
Oh, jeez. I thought he was more like a.
I think he's legit.
Oh, he is legit.
I
haven't seen all the running backs, so I can't really gauge where he is.
It's January 17th, Brian. It's okay.
Okay, it's early, but I don't see my top 4 running backs changing. I think.
So Singletary is the top 40. You have him in your top 50. Okay.
Josh Jacobs from Alabama is the number 1 running back.
That is a man right there. Yeah.
It's funny. When my first rankings in December, I got killed for it. Now it seems to be common thought. But he is the number 1 running back in this draft. Devin Singletary is the number 2 running back in this draft.
Man, I haven't seen all these guys.
Devin Singletary, the FAU kid.
Oh,
I'm not exaggerating when I say he is one of the most elusive running backs I have ever scouted. Ever.
Wow.
I kept saying because
who are the other 2?
Damian Harris, the Alabama running back 3, and then David Montgomery, Iowa State, 4.
Cool.
All right, what do you have Montgomery?
What?
What do you have Montgomery, Iowa State?
Second, third round. 4th running back. I mean, I think there's a lot to like about him. I just don't think he's
Speaking of non-Power 5, funny question from Vladimir.
I ask about Trayvon Williams too from Texas.
Yeah, I think he's 6 for me. I mean, he's right in that mix.
Yeah,
he finished strong.
Player. We saw enough of him in College Station.
Yeah, that was a nightmare for me.
Vladimir says, "Who should the Cowboys draft from Boise State this year? Any prospects this year?"
I haven't looked at Boise tape this year on anybody.
They got the quarterback, Brett Rippon.
Okay, I haven't looked
the
at
nephew of Mark Rippon.
Mark Rippon, yeah.
He's a possible late round guy, that you bring in as a possible backup. After that, the Alexander Madison, the running back, came out early. I think he's a later round guy. It's really not a strong group of
Boise kids
guys this year.
Keep in mind that they doubled up last year, so they don't need to draft.
Got their quota.
Yeah, they got the quota.
Man, I'm so disheartened by this Singletary. I kind of thought he was.
Where'd you have him?
That was your guy.
No, I loved him. I thought
no, not Singletary, Moss.
Oh
Singletary.
no, Moss.
Both.
I love Moss too, but see, I haven't seen them all. I can't.
Are you disheartened by Singletary because Dane?
Yes, because Dane's got a second round. I mean, a possible
top 40.
Top 40, great.
Why are you trying to draft a running back in the second round anyway?
I'll tell you, this kid is awesome. I know. I'm just looking at players.
They won't use him the right way.
He
won't.
After watching him, I regret saying this, but I think he's the second coming of LaShawn McCoy. The way he can slip, he's 200 pounds, and the way he can slip tackles, finish.
Yeah.
Put him on my team.
I'm with you on that. I loved watching him play. That grass out there. He was just. I loved it.
We're way behind schedule.
No. I need you. One more question.
I got one that I really.
And then we got to get to some Senior Bowl stuff real quick.
Especially as an LSU guy, I want to ask, but I don't think this is something we've ever talked about on the draft show. This is going to be a first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Daquan. Any kickers worth taking a look at this year?
Does this team need a kicker?
Oh God, we
need.
Whatever stadium he's in. I could feel the nerves.
Yeah.
And I could feel the nerves from the star over here when we're watching the game. Yeah.
If you ask Jason Garrett, you would get an emphatic no. But if you ask anybody else, I think you would say you would at least want to take a look at it.
Right. And you mentioned LSU because
Cole Tracy.
Mr. Tracy, the Assumption College transfer.
He kicks the ball. It's so line drive.
They go through the uprights.
We'll see him next week.
Yeah,
he is at the Senior Bowl.
He is at the Senior Bowl. Gruden will mess him up. Is he on Gruden's side?
And maybe he might impress. Gruden once took a kicker in the first round.
He did. He was part of that. He was
still
part of
kicking.
That.
Is that something that you would? I mean, no, but I don't see the point in drafting kickers. But
that punter made a difference in Seattle.
He was.
Yeah, that punter made a difference in Seattle.
He was a rare guy that should have gone.
Speaking of punter, this one here.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, wow! So we're just trying to swap out all the specialists here.
A little, yeah.
So I mean, 6th, 7th round. If you tell me that there's a guy that's a definite difference maker,
sure. You might need a snapper too. LP's getting a little expensive for he's a free agent too.
You're wiping out the specialist room.
Yeah, we'll see.
We've been all year. We've been saying well, other than the specialists, nobody here is younger than or older than 30. It's about to just be period. I don't know. That's something that I would be curious to take a look at though. Just.
Absolutely, you're right.
I'm scouting some kickers this year.
Scouting some kickers this year. We'll let you be the kicker scout. How about that?
Yeah, that's fine.
That'd be a good segment.
Yeah.
Segment will be kicker scout. Let's go to David Holman for kicker scout. Okay, in the last few minutes, Dane Brugler, take the rosters, North and South, and kind of give us a little preview of who David Hellman and I should be looking at. I know I've got my eye on a Delaware safety named
Adderley.
Yeah, I got my eye on him.
He
might be one of the best safeties in the draft.
I think he is the best safety in the draft.
Oh, more so than the Alabama
Numero uno.
Ooh.
At least that's what I'm going with right now. We'll see if he makes me look dumb.
My season's over here. No, I mean, I thought he was the best safety that I saw.
Well, we'll see how he does at the Senior Bowl when he's
step up and fight
exactly.
and wait here in the category.
But he dominated the FCS level. I think he has some corner safety versatility. He's got corner feet.
Right?
Nasir,
yeah.
A cousin, couple times removed with Herb Adderley, Hall of Fame, former Cowboy, former
Packer. Yeah, absolutely.
I think the top with Josh Allen, Kentucky pass rusher, with him pulling out. I think Montez Sweat, the Mississippi State edge rusher, is the top prospect in Mobile.
I'll take him over that Florida guy you're trying to sell me.
He is scary, man.
SEC fans are well aware of what he could do. He double-digit sacks the last 2 years in the SEC. Eager to see Wayans, what he comes in at, because he's so long, but he's lean.
Yeah, very lean.
Does he even have room to put on weight? I don't know.
Yeah.
Adderley's the number 2 guy for me. Then we get to the quarterbacks. Daniel Jones, Drew Lock. Those are the top 2 quarterbacks. Both have a chance to go top 10, top 15. And it's going to be great because they're both on the North squad, being coached by quarterback nut John Gruden.
There you go.
So
John will wear them out.
Kind of like last year when we had Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen back to back.
Yeah, no, that's good. It'll be good evaluation.
Exactly. I mean, Jim
Nagy did a good job.
Executive director of the Senior Bowl. He did that on purpose.
Yeah, good.
Get these guys back to back, throw after throw, compare them. That's going to be, to me, the top storyline of the entire week to see how they do. After that, we're talking Zach Allen, for edge rusher from Boston College, the tackle from Washington State.
Talk about him a little bit.
Andre Dillard, 6'5", 290.
He's going to be up these boards before we know it on him, too.
I think he's going to be. He's a guy that you're going to look at in the first round.
Yeah.
Especially when tackles get pushed up a little bit. What's his length going to be at the weigh-in?
Yeah.
That'll be a big step for him. Is he 32 3/4? Is he closer to 34? That'll be a big step for him to see how he does. But I think Andre Dillard, he's the top senior offensive lineman and a guy that we're going to be talking a lot about as a possible first-round pick.
How about the Northern Illinois kid?
Max Sharpen.
Yeah.
He grew up in the shadow of Lambeau. Yeah. He's a Green Bay kid and went to Northern Illinois for the MAC. And when he went up against Brian Burns from Florida State this year, he more than held his own.
Not bad there. I remember that game. I do remember that game.
I think he's my second-rated senior offensive tackle, so he's going to be in that late second, early third-round mix. We'll see how he does next week. It's a pretty good group for offensive linemen.
That's what I thought.
At the Senior Bowl, Michael Dieter from Wisconsin.
I watched him a little bit yesterday. He's a guard, right?
The best thing about him is he has double-digit starts at Wisconsin at tackle,
and
at guard, and at center. Double-digit starts at all 3
I watched him only
positions.
guard, yeah.
So I think he gives you a little bit of versatility. And then the top center in the draft, Garrett Bradbury from NC State. I think he's going to have a big week in Mobile, and he could end up being a second-round pick.
I feel like
I appreciate that. That's great stuff.
Position that really benefits from these practices. Obviously
the one-on-one stuff.
Well, and that's where I was going is wide receiver.
Yeah.
Isabella, obviously, we covered. I am a big fan of Deebo Samuel's game.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else that stands out to you that I should have an eye on?
Emmanuel Hall from Missouri. He's legit 6'2", 205, but he has 4.3 speed. Drew Lock has a huge arm. But there were times when Emmanuel Hall got vertical so quick that he had to wait for the ball.
Yeah.
He can take the top off of defense. And I think his underneath game matured this season, got a little more consistent finishing catches. So Emmanuel Hall, to me, going into Senior Bowl week, he is the top senior receiver for me. Andy Isabella's 2, Anthony Johnson from Buffalo, and then I have Deebo Samuel. Those are the top 4 for me. An interesting wide receiver I'm eager to see is Jalen Hurd from Baylor, former Tennessee running back.
Yeah.
Went to Baylor as a transfer, played slot receiver basically. Interesting guy with his frame. Is he a H-back? Is he a slot receiver? Eager to see how they use him and then how he does throughout the week.
I forgot about him.
Yeah.
Is this Washington State quarterback a sleeper guy?
Gardner Minshew.
Gotta
love the mustache.
I know it's a bit with the mustache, but I've watched enough Pac-12 games to kind of see that he can sling it around. Is he? People are comparing him to the quarterback that was at USC that the Browns.
Kessler?
Yeah, Kessler. Is that fair? I know it's
the saddest Dane has ever been during the draft.
I've never been.
But he's better than that, right? People were comparing him to that. Is he?
I guess I could see that. The big thing for him will be getting him out of that Washington State offense.
Yeah,
that's quick load and fire.
Yeah,
one read, predetermined stuff. So getting him out of that offense to see how he performs when he has to work through progressions more. He doesn't have a great arm. He has a good arm. How will he do next week? It's a really good group of quarterbacks. I mentioned Daniel Jones and Drew Lock at the top. You also have Jarrett Stidham from Auburn,
right?
Ryan Finley from NC State, Tyree Jackson from Buffalo.
Right.
So the quarterback group's really interesting. And Gardner Minshew's, kind of like Trace McSorley, not going to be one of the top guys we talk about as top 3 or 4 round guys, but once we get into day 3, could be an interesting player.
This is a funny aside, but I've got I have the Senior Bowl rosters pulled up on my laptop here, and they got like a little banner picture of the huddle from last year. Front and center, Michael Gallup. Which, hey, I know it's early, but the Cowboys have a tendency to take a hard look at these guys. Michael Gallup, Dak Prescott. I guarantee you I'm forgetting somebody else that's on this team that played in this game recently.
Zach Martin.
Zach Martin. Well, Zach Martin.
And I think with even like a guy like Michael Gallup, did we really expect him to be there in the late third?
No, I didn't.
I
didn't.
And that was one of those where as soon as the pick at 50 was made, we were like, all right, this is going to be a long wait.
And that's why you do the extensive work on all these Senior Bowl guys, because you don't, especially with 130 some juniors coming out, it's going to push. A guy like Kyler Murray coming out, that's great for the Cowboys.
Yeah,
it's going to push another guy down. So. You never know who might be there for you second, third round.
This is the game I learned about Ali Marpet.
Yeah.
From Hobart College. And I see right here there's a young man named Corey Ballantyne from Washburn.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the small school guy? Are we going to, is that going to be, or is it Keelan Doss from UC Davis? Who's going to be the one, that small school guy that all of a sudden I'm like going, oh, I got to watch some Hobart film.
Well, we talked about the Delaware safety, who he's the top safety.
You're going to watch him anyway. Yeah.
I'll give you 3 small school guys who I really like and could blow up after this week. Titus Howard, offensive tackle from Alabama State.
Okay.
They played Auburn this year, and he played really well.
Okay.
He's a former tight end. I think he's
got
a player.
Feet, evidently.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think he's a big-time player. Kaylin Saunders, defensive tackle from was it Western Illinois? He's big. He can move. He plays with power.
6'2", he's 6'2", 310 is what the guy meant.
And so I think he's going to have a big week. And then Alex Wesley from Northern Colorado, a speed guy, track guy. But he's not just a vertical guy. He can play some underneath, crossers, digs, that kind of thing. So those 3 underclassmen, or those 3, the small school guys, I think we'll be talking about more as we leave Mobile compared to as we go into the week.
What are you looking forward to, Dave, in the last minute or so here about your trip to Mobile next week?
I mean, I kind of alluded to it right there with the Michael Gallup thing.
Yeah.
It's like it's a really good bet that the Cowboys will have heavy interest in one of these guys to the point where they'll probably draft one. Zach Martin, Michael Gallup, Dak Prescott is the one I'll always remember, but somebody's going to stand out here that we will, we're going to cut the list down when we're talking about prospects.
Sure.
We're going to cut it down to a couple dozen guys that the Cowboys really like, and I'm curious to see who it is. Receivers always stand out. Like I said, during these practices, it just favors that position. So
right.
I
love the offensive and defensive lineman one-on-one, especially if you're telling me there's good offensive linemen here.
Yeah.
That's some of the great battles we saw with Aaron Donald and Zach Martin at this place.
Y'all were talking about the Washington State tackle. Offensive tackle. You talk about corner being a sneaky need. Offensive tackle probably too. So.
There'll be some good one. Dalton Reisner from Kansas State, really good player. So a lot of good players. What I'm looking forward to most is Drew Lock versus Daniel Jones, the quarterback. See how they do. Montez Sweat, who we mentioned earlier from Mississippi State, does he live up to the billing as being the top player there. And then Nasir Adderley. I put him at number 21 overall on my board. And I think he's a top safety. I'm a big believer in him. I kind of got on that early back in October, and I've been riding it ever since. Does he make me look like I know what I'm talking about, or does he have a rough week and come back to earth a little bit? So those are the main things I'm looking forward to next week.
My goal is to find 5 guys that I love who I can convince myself will be there at 58. Because, I love Montez Sweat. He's terrifying, but he's long gone.
Yeah.
He's so long gone,
absolutely.
It's not even funny. So
yeah. See, this is a great thing about the draft. And, we don't know what's going to happen. The fact that the Cowboys don't have a first-round pick right now, that could change in a blink of an eye. I mean, you can manipulate this thing to get back in the draft. Trust me, it's not going to be one of these things.
You could, but
you could
think that's going to happen?
I'm just saying, though, you have to be prepared. You have to have your work done. You have to be ready. You don't know when things are going to flip. So again,
but you also have to study up in the deeper rounds.
You have to study. That's what's going to make this draft a lot of fun, as always. We're going to try and again investigate and educate the best we can. Okay. That is all the time that we have today. Hey, thank you guys out there for joining us. If you're following us along on, one of the various platforms, Apple, all those things like that, if you're going in there doing reviews and stuff on us, I'll go in there and read that stuff. If you like it, rate us, do those things. We'd sure appreciate that. Love to hear the comments you make about the draft show. We'll try and make it tailored to you because really that's what it's for. It's for you guys to understand this draft a little bit better. So if you feel the need, go ahead and make some comments in there, rate us, give us an idea of what you want, and we'll sure try and make it happen. So for my scouting buddies, Dane Burglar, for David Hellman, Kent Garrison, I'm Brian Bross. We'll see you next Tuesday from Mobile, Alabama, the site of the Reese's Senior Bowl. So take care.